Hi everyone, really brief introduction. This video will be divided in parts, so there will be a moment where I will describe the two landmarks that you will have for every age, and then I will tell you my opinion on which one you should build in your games, not only based on my experience of course, but also on higher level players that I've seen playing these weeks in Age of Empires 4. Also, I will go kind of in depth about the buildings, right? Also stuff that's not in the description of the building, but I couldn't find any crazy weird interaction because I'm not Spirit of the Law, and also there's not an editor yet, so it's really hard to test things that you cannot see in your games. But still, I try to do my best, and if you're not really familiar with the Rus, these can probably be pretty helpful to you. And now I'll start with the video, starting off from, of course, the Feudal Age landmarks. So enjoy. The first landmark available to the Rus when advancing to the Feudal Age is the Kremlin. This is just like a more powerful version of the wooden fortress, which is already an upgraded version of the outpost available to the Rus. Of course, it does similar things but better, so it will have more HP, like 5000 HP compared to the wooden fortress 2000. It has the same number of slots for villagers and troops to go into the structure, but comes with free upgrades that you will not have to pay for. So it comes with arrow slits, which makes so that even without any units inside, the Kremlin will shoot at enemies. It comes with castle turret, which makes so that the arrows do more damage, and the castle watch, which increases the size, like the line of sight of the outpost. So as you can see, this is the line of sight that the Kremlin has. So it's really impressive and can come really helpful. And well, it also has the influence effect of the wooden fortress, so that every lumber camp in this orange area will have 20% increased wood production. As you can see, this lumber camp is affected by the influence of the Kremlin. Also, wooden fortress have this normally, but they have a bit of a smaller area that they can affect wood lumber camps. The Kremlin doesn't come with the spring emplacement, but you can buy the same way that you can for wooden fortresses. Your second option when going feudal is the Golden Gate. This is an economic landmark similar to a market, and it will give you the same trade a market will give you, but at favorable rates. Of course, you cannot spam them. It's one every 60 seconds, every minute, as the description says. And when you build the Golden Gate, you will already have one trade. You can see in it calls them supplies. It's just like tickets to make one of these trades. So they're favorable in which way? Of course, if you're familiar with the market, you will know that you have to give more resources to get a bit less of the one that you want, right? You have to pay to make the exchange. Instead, with the Golden Gate is the opposite. You get more resources than the ones you're paying for. So if you want to buy 150 food, you will have to pay only 100 gold. Also, another difference is that these amounts are fixed. It will always be you pay 100 for what you want to give away to get 150 of what you want. This means that not only you get you can exchange, but you also generate resources out of nowhere. Instead, the market, you have to pay for the trade, and also you will always have to pay more, right? There's the market system that the more you sell off the resource, the more this will lose value, and instead the other one will be more expensive. Of course, here's the reason why you cannot spam the Golden Gate trades, and there's these supplies system, because of course then you will be just generating resources. Of course, this means that if you have multiple supplies, so multiple trades, you can actually get through different stuff. So for example, you have wood, you want to get food, you will get 300 gold by selling wood, 200 wood, and then by buying food with that 300 gold, you will get 450 food. So you go from 200 wood to 450 food, but this will cost you 5 supplies. So you can do this like every 5 minutes. But still, really versatile and powerful landmark, if I can say so. Okay guys, we've seen the two options that you have when going feudal, so now I'll briefly give you my opinion in which one you should use in your games and what I do. So I think when you're going feudal, you should just ask yourself if you really need the Kremlin, right? Because the Kremlin is basically just a good outpost, so it's not going to scale well into like the later phases of the game, and it's just useful in defense. But it can be extremely useful when you actually need it, right? Because it relieves a lot of pressure off of you. So I would say if you have a good location to place a Kremlin in, so maybe there's a position when with the Kremlin you can use the effect that powers up your lumber camp while still like protecting maybe deer or protecting some exposed gold, then you can use it. Or maybe there's like a choke point, you can place the Kremlin there because it's going to be really hard to take down. Otherwise the Kremlin might not be useful. So if you don't have like a position where you think like, okay, I really need a Kremlin here, or you're fine with using just a normal wooden fortress, then absolutely go with the Golden Gate, because this is going to be useful always useful, because in every game there's multiple moments where you need to trade resources, right? And that's why I also would advise you that if you build the Golden Gate, to still build the market, even if the Golden Gate gives you better exchanges, they are limited, so you may need a market because you finished the Golden Gate exchanges for the time being. But still, Golden Gate really useful, makes you trade resources at the favorable rates, so you will be able to adjust your resource balance without having to worry about losing. And actually you generate resources, so even if you are in a moment where you don't need to exchange resources, you can just use the Golden Gate to just get some extra. If you have accumulated some supplies, you can just, I don't know, you have food, you want to have more food, well, just sell like 200 food for gold and then sell 300 gold for food, so you will end up with 450 food from 200 food just by using supplies without having to exchange anything if you don't want to. So I would say really Kremlin situational and Golden Gate always a safe option. When advancing to the Castle Age, the first option for the Rus is the High Trade House, which is an economic landmark that has 3 bonuses. 2 are in the description of the building, and 1 is kind of hidden, if we can say so. So the first one is the same of an hunting cabinet. It means that it will give you gold based on the trees that are in this circle around the building. But it does it better than the hunting cabinet. In fact, it does it with a value increased by 200%. As you can see, my High Trade House doesn't have too many trees around, just these few, but it's giving me 77 gold per minute. The second bonus is spawning a deer every 60 seconds. So every 60 seconds you will get 350 food that you can harvest with your villagers. This gives you like a reliable source of food that can be safer than, for example, deer that's not near your town center, or just farms and stuff. Also, there's the hidden bonus, and this is the one is always connected to the deer spawning, and it is that, of course, as Rus, you will get the 10 gold every time that you kill one of the deer that has spawned. This means that other than getting the 10 gold every minute, which is kind of irrelevant, you also get the 10 gold towards completing your bounty. And since reaching the tier 3 is not that easy, this can help you, right? Because otherwise you would have to go and maybe take boar, or I don't know, all the wolves of the map. So these are the bonuses that this landmark gives. Your second option for Castle Age will be the Abbey of Trinity. This is a monastery, of course, and it has 2 effects. The first one is giving you warrior monks at half the price, and the second one is giving you the option of researching these 2 unique texts that you don't have in the normal monastery. So first, about warrior monks. They are monks on a horse, and that can also fight, and then when they fight they give a buff to the units around them. I think it's 2 damage and 1 arm, 2 melee damage and 1 melee armor, 1 ranged armor to all the troops affected. They are really powerful, and so they're obviously really expensive. They cost 40 food and 200 gold, so already being only like 20 food and 100 gold in the Abbey of Trinity is good if you plan on using multiple of these during your match. This will adapt really quickly. Then instead for the techs, this is the less useful bonus because, well, they are not too expensive, but still it's 275 gold for power-ups to the Saint Blessing, right? So the buff that I just talked about. The first one will give like more range to your Saint Blessing, so it will affect more troops, and the second one will give you 1 extra damage to Saint Blessing. These are really maybe not like key techs, but they're still there, and if you find yourself using Saint Blessing often, if you play around it a lot, maybe with knights and stuff, they may come in handy in some games. Okay, I've told you like about the 2 choices that you have for Castle Age. Now we'll discuss a little bit the choice for Castle. So in this age, again, I think there's one building that's more reliable and one that's more situational. The High Trade House is the more reliable one because you will get gold from the trees, you will get food from gathering the deer, you just put some villagers there and you're fine. And also you will complete your tier 3 bounty without having to worry about anything. But the Abbey of Trinity can really do what I would call like a power play. So it's situational because you have to actually like actively use it. You have to focus on it and be ready. But if you use it, it's really good because you get your monastery as soon as you get to Castle Age, and you can immediately start producing monks. So maybe you can heal up your units before an incoming fight. Maybe you have some knights that you used for raiding. It happened to me already just sometimes. Then I had some knights that were low HP. I immediately got my monk out. I healed them up and I could send them back to raid. Then also you can use your monks. Then I tell you again, they are on horse, so you can use them to get the relics way faster than your opponent because they're faster, and you also got the monastery earlier than them, unless they got to castle way before you. And yeah, I think it's good because I think it's a power play because in Castle Age, I think you need like big things, right? Because people unlock keep, people unlock siege, and everyone has knights. There are some big unique techs. Generally, like the best unique techs come in Castle Age, so there will be big changes in the way you will fight the game, and most games I would say are decided in Castle Age. So the High Trade House, I don't know if it can give you the edge to maybe change the game, but it's still really good because as the Golden Gate, you can never go wrong with it. But still, consider the Abbey of Trinity because it gives you a lot of like potential to do stuff. Now for the Imperial Age, you can have the Spasskaya Tower. This is a defensive landmark which is an improved version of the keep, and it says that it has 2 bonuses. The first one is increased health, and the second one is the weapon emplacements are really there for you. There's actually a third one, which is not mentioned, that is 5 extra slots for your units to garrison. As you can see, I have a normal keep here for comparison. The tower has 20 slots, the normal keep has 15. Also, the weapon emplacements that you will have on the tower are the springald and the cannon for a total of like 425 stone and 125 gold if you were to actually buy them, while you will not have the boiling oil already there. And lastly, for the health improve, for the improved health, it's gonna be 3000 extra HP because the tower has 8000 while the normal keep has 5000. The last thing that I can mention on this tower here is that it doesn't really look like a keep, right? So if you're up against someone that's not really familiar with Rust or like a new player, they may have some problem in like visual clarity and not realize that this is a really dangerous building for them, so they may run into it with their army and realize it until it's too late. So you might have like an advantage if you're playing against lower elo players or newbies. So this is something you should consider, right? It doesn't have much visual clarity. You would never say this is a keep first time you see it unless you read the description. The last Rust landmark and your second option when going Imperial is the High Armory. The High Armory is a unique building which is fully siege oriented, and it has two effects. The first one is making all the siege produced in the siege workshop in this area of effect, this circle around the High Armory, 20% cheaper. So I made some in the area of effect, also one really on the border of the circle, just to show you that even if the siege workshop is just one tile inside this area of effect, it will be affected. Then there's one outside for comparison. So the one outside for comparison, for a spring guard you see 200 wood, 200 gold, and here 160 wood, 160 gold. Also this one, as you can see, it's affected 160 wood, 160 gold. Instead, it doesn't affect the technologies. So tax, this one 150 wood, 350 gold, 150 wood, 350 gold. So it's only the siege units, but it's still a good bonus since in Imperial Age siege is kind of relevant. But then there's the second effect, which is giving you 4 unique techs that are all siege related. So your first one will give like 1.5 extra range on your spring guard. The second one will double the damage of rams, increased by 100%. The third one I already researched, but I will explain it to you. I researched because this really needed like a visual demonstration. The fourth one is fine-tuned guns, which makes your bombers shoot faster by reducing the reload time of 25%. Now the third tech is like siege engine something. I will like maybe write it on screen right now. And what it does, it kind of makes the deployment time of mangonel and trebuchets instant. So you don't have anymore that somewhat long animation between telling the siege unit to shoot and actually shooting. So as you see, if I attack ground, this is not already placed, but now this is non-placed. If I tell to attack ground, immediately place down, and then there's just that little amount of time for the animation, for the actual animation of the shooting to happen. This I think is the best one out of these 4, but just because you can really catch infantry groups off guard by not giving them the time to dodge the shot or retreating after they see the mangonel. And also when sieging it's good for trebuchets, especially because it's also when you move the troop away. So let's do like this. Let's see that we're being charged by cavalry, and this is maybe a trebuchet or also mangonel. Immediately do like this and the unit is already moving away. There's no time to pack everything up and then go. Also, last thing, these techs, if you actually look at the costs, they're not that pricey considering they are siege related techs. Just compare them to the ones in the siege workshop and you see that they cost the same, or just for fine-tuning guns, the same or even less, considering they're still like strong techs for siege weapons. And here we are to the final choice, the choice in Imperial Age. We have the tower and High Armory. I think that in Imperial you should mostly go High Armory, and it's an opinion that I've seen shared by lots of people on the internet, because the tower, it's a keep, and keeps are useful to like avoid small raiding. You can use it to protect your eco, but already the tower, it's a stronger keep, so it would be a waste to put it like on the back to protect yourself. You should put it on the front technically, but since we're in Imperial, if you need a keep on the front of your base, or yeah, in front of your base, you probably already have it, right? Because you had the old castle age to build it. So if you really need it, you already have it. You could try to like castle drop someone, so putting it like in the middle of the map or near the enemy base. But the problem with that is that it's something that I really wouldn't advise, because this is not just a normal keep, it's your landmark. You use it to get to the next stage. So if you try to castle drop someone with this tower and it fails, well, you've lost a lot more resources than you would lose with a keep. Like, you lost I don't remember, you don't lose everything, but you lose most of them, like half of them, or like as much as you built. Still, you will delay your Imperial age and you will lose a lot of resources. You may lose the game if you try to castle drop someone with this tower and you don't finish it. Instead, high armory powers up your siege, gives you cheaper siege. So what more can you ask points from a building in Imperial age? It's really good. Well, this is the end of the video. I hope you learned something new, or you liked hearing about my opinions. And as I said, these are not just from my experience, also from watching some of the top tier players, since I'm still trying to learn the game myself, like you are. And just see, it's kind of a discussion, not some facts that I'm trying to tell you this is better and this just like that. It's a discussion that we can have in the comments if you want. So if you have something that has been working for you, some different strategy with Rust, with the landmarks, with other civs, just leave a comment. Even if it's a small channel, I see the notification and I will answer you. So feel free to do it, or to subscribe if you want to see more content in the future. And that was it. So hope I see you in the next one.